Last week, the Advent candle was for faith. We light this candle. We have faith to move mountains. And this week, the Advent candle is for peace. The peace that passes all understanding. So take a deep, deep God breath. And know that this is the breath of the divine, the breath of Holy Spirit. And it infills you with life force energy. I call forth the infilling of the divine light of the Christ. I call forth a perfect circle of light and love to surround you. I call forth the holy healing breath of God to breathe within you. And I call forth the power of the Holy Spirit to move through you now, to move the energy into your heart, to bathe your heart in the sweetness of divine love, and to pour forth from your heart like a river of healing light, touching each and every cell, renewing, restoring, and regenerating, as it moves through you and around you in a halo of healing light, immersed in the Christ energy, bathed in love. Imagine yourself in a beautiful sanctuary within your heart. And you're surrounded in all the beauties of nature, plants and trees and multicolored flowers in full bloom. You feel so peaceful as you walk through your sanctuary. And all of nature bows at your feet to honor who you are on your sacred journey. And everywhere you look, there are magnificent angels. And they are there to celebrate you on this special day. And soon you notice a beautiful light, glowing light that is approaching you on the path. And your heart is filled with a sense of awe and wonder of what awaits you as this light comes closer and closer. And out of the light steps the beloved Mother and the Christ within your heart. And they walk right up to you and look into your eyes. You can feel their warmth and their loving blessings. And as you look back into their eyes, you notice the reflection in their eyes is that of you. You feel so wonderful, so peaceful. And the beloved Mother embraces you and holds you dearly, heart to heart. Tells you that you are precious and loved and that she is always with you, no matter what. And she places a blue rose upon your heart to remind you of her loving presence in your life. And this comforts you. And the Christ reaches out with those powerful healing hands and touches your heart, igniting your heart, igniting your cells in the power of divine spirit. And that spirit soars through you like a river of healing light, renewing, restoring, and regenerating. And you receive this blessing, and it comforts you. And the angels gather all around you as they did the day that you were born. They tell you that you are precious and loved, and that they are always with you every step of the way. You feel so welcome, so supported. And you know that all is well. And the beloved Mother and the Christ take your hands and walk the path with you. And soon you come to a beautiful pool of crystal clear healing water. And the Christ walks you into the healing waters, and the waters are warm to the touch. So you sit down in the healing waters as the angels gather all around you. And the Christ reaches down and touches the water and anoints your head and your heart, bringing your mind and spirit into perfect harmony. And the angels gather the healing waters and gently pour them over your head, over your being, washing away all of your fears and worries. Feel so loved, so blessed. And the angels lift you up into the heavens and wrap their wings around you and hold you dearly, heart to heart. And they tell you that you are precious and loved, that your presence on this planet makes such an important difference. And this is the time of the Christ. This is the time to show up and be loved no matter what. This is the time to example the divine that you are. They lightly stroke your hair, offering you that loving, angelic, healing touch. And every cell of your being drinks in this magical healing energy. And the angels gently bring you back down to Mother Earth, bringing heaven to earth on your sacred journey. And the beloved Mother and the Christ take your hands once again and walk back along the path with you. And you know that you have come home. For home is where the heart is, and God is always home. As you walk back into this room, bring the thought of a beloved in your life that might be in need of special attention, special love during this time. And send them a blessing heart to heart, knowing that your blessings are incredibly powerful and will touch this one in a very special way and help them along their path. Do that now. And take another deep breath as you walk back into this room and know that you have reached out and touched another and made an important difference in their life. As you walk back into this room, slowly begin to open your eyes. And as you do, take note of how you're feeling. Take note of the energy that is moving through you and around you. Take note that this room is filled with a heavenly presence, and that presence is with you every step of the way. And all is well. Take one more deep breath as you open your eyes. And know that you are the light of the Christ, and that you are indeed God's dream come true. May God bless you every step of the way on your journey, and may it be one of peace. Amen. Our women and our children. As a lot of you know, my precious wife, Margaret, the minister of the church, is feeling somewhat under the weather, so she's home today. And so my fond, loving name for her is my precious Pookie. So let's all say, get well, precious Pookie.
Get well, precious Pookie.
She's not going to be able to
Probably
live that
watching
down.
right now. So, as a lot of you already know, I am it is what it is kind of guy. tell you a little bit about that. Back in 1980, I was living in Daytona Beach, and something that I'm proud of that was somewhat unique, I was hired, and as far as I know, was the only male ever to be hired at the Women's Center at the Community College in Daytona Beach as a counselor. And there was one woman there that was a counselor that she would always say, no matter what was going on, even if it was the hardest thing you could ever imagine, she would say, oh well, it is what it is. And I was so impressed with that, that became a part of my life. And I've done a lot of investigations about that. And what I've come to, the conclusion is that if we don't label things, good, bad, right, or wrong, and we don't judge things, but we just embrace what is as something to learn, something that has met us on the path that we are to glean some wisdom from. Because it's really hard to, when we judge something or we label it, to glean the wisdom of what it has to teach us. And my belief is that we've come to this planet for several reasons. One, this is a planet of emotion and experience with the ultimate goal of awakening to the truth of who we are and living that truth. So I believe that in all the lifetimes that we have, we're going to experience just about every emotion you could ever imagine, and we're going to have just about every experience you could ever imagine, with the ultimate goal of awakening and remembering and living the truth of who we are. So, if we choose to be open to learn from whatever meets us on the path and not judge it, we can move forward much more quickly on our path of awakening than when we judge it. Because as soon as we judge it, we have to take a step back to take a look at what we're judging. Because everything that comes our way has something to teach us, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like. And so we get to make a choice when it comes our way. We can embrace it. That doesn't mean we love it, but we can embrace it and ask it, what is its message to us? And if we stay in our hearts, we can glean that wisdom. And as soon as we do, we move forward on our path of awakening. But once we judge it, we stop the process. We stop the process of moving forward. Because our ego will not glean the wisdom of an experience, only our heart. So I want to tell you an interesting dream that I had the other day. I already told my bookie about this, but I want to tell you too, because it was significant to me. I was in a foreign country. It could have been India or Indonesia or something like that. And there was a couple of guys, friends of mine, and I don't know what we were doing. I think we were doing some exploring. And we're all staying in this cabin. And that night, I was sleeping, and I was awakened. I heard something in the room. And I looked down on the floor, and there was this snake, this big, nasty-looking snake, moving around on the floor. And I don't do well with snakes, I have to admit. They're not my friends, but for some reason it was there. And I just knew in my mind that this was a poisonous snake. And I was frozen in my bed. I was just frozen there looking at this thing. And I knew I couldn't get up and try to get away from it because it would probably get me and bite me. So I just lay there and I was praying in the bed. And the darn thing crawled up into the bed. Wow. Right next to me.
Snuggled.
Yeah, I mean, it literally went under the covers, right next to me. And I was terrified. I was terrified. And I knew that I was at a choice point right then and there. I could try to get up and run away and get away from it. But if I did, more than likely I was going to be bitten. So what I did is I said, well, this is what it is. This thing's right here. It's literally right next to me. I don't think it has wonderful intentions for me. So I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to just lie here and pray. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to pray. And I'm going to be as still and calm as possible. And I lay there, literally, in my dream, I lay there for hours, right next to this thing. The guy that was in the bed over here, he wasn't too far away. He's one of my friends. And it was about dawn. And I was still lying there. I wasn't sleeping. I was just lying there. But my inner guidance just said, be peaceful, be calm, be still. Don't move. And pray. And so this guy woke up, and he looked at me, and I had this terror look on my eyes. And I whispered to him, I said, there's this big snake. He's in the bed, he's right next to me, and I can't move. So he got very quietly, got out of his bed. He said, I'm going to take care of it. This was somebody that knew something about snakes. And he said, I'm going to get rid of it. I said, you don't want to touch this thing. You don't want to disturb it at all. But he said, no, I'm going to take care of it. So he walked up to the bed, and he starts to put his hand under the cover. I said, God, that thing's going to bite you. Don't do this. He said, no, I'm going to take care of it. You just lay there still. So he actually got the tail of it and pulled it out, and he was holding it up like this. And it was an ugly thing. And he said, now you get up and you go out of the room. I'll take care of it. And so I got up very quietly as he was holding this thing. And I was really scared for him at that point. And I walked out of the room. And I woke up. And so for the next hour, I lay there in bed thinking about this. What was this about? What was this about? And the first thing I noticed is that when I woke up, you would think that I would have been trembling from this experience. But when I woke up, I was very still and very calm. And it was like I was looking back from that state of being on this whole scenario. And I said, what was this about? I asked that question. And it was about, what was revealed to me, it was about, in the midst of a really difficult, scary situation, the goal is to move into the holy place of the heart. And be still and be calm and listen to your divine guidance instead of being reactionary. Instead of judging the situation as wrong, to embrace the situation and ask what it's all about. So that's what I was doing. What was this all about? And what I got was, there's a lot going on in the world right now. An awful lot. And a lot of things to be scared of, or afraid, or anxious about. In the midst of all this, our mission, if we choose to accept it, is not to judge it, not to fight it, not to react to it, but to ask what the messenger is that's met us on the path. And in this particular situation, snake in Native American is medicine. When you dream about snakes, it's medicine. And so the medicine that this snake was there to talk to me about being calm and peaceful in the midst of a scary or hard situation. It wasn't there to kill me. It wasn't there to hurt me. It was there to bring me a message. And it was only my ego that was in terror about it. So what I glean from that is that every situation, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, is simply a message. And our job is to learn from it and grow and move forward on our path of awakening. And what our ego might say, this is something horrible, what our heart might say, this is medicine that's come our way to teach us something. So to listen to the heart, to listen to the divine in the midst of something that's scary. And so I thought, how can I continue to do this in my life from this moment on? To not label something, just say, this is what it is. What am I to learn from it? And so I actually did some kinesiology with that to determine if simply saying, instead of judging something, instead of saying, it is what it is, what am I to learn from it? When I did the kinesiology, it proved to be really strong, saying it is what it is instead of this is wrong or this is bad or this is this or this is that. So that was an affirmation to me that this is something that's really powerful and something that we may be being asked to look at in the midst of all that's going on the planet right now. It is what it is. It's not good, bad, right, or wrong. It just is. One of the things that the divine said is, I am that I am. But I want you to think about this. There's many different ways you can say, I am that I am. You could say, I am that I am. Situation comes up. It's difficult. I am that situation. I am. What am I to learn from it? It has met me on the path. I am a part of it. That way, we don't have to go through major difficulty. We don't have to go through being a reactionary. We don't have to let the ego take over. Because every time it does, it weakens us a little bit more. The weaker we get, the more we're susceptible to all kinds of things. So if we just say, it is what it is, what am I to learn from it? It's met me on the path. How can I embrace it? What does it have to teach me? What kind of snake medicine it is bringing for me to learn from? In 2009, when I was hired by the University of South Carolina baseball team to be their motivational coach for that season and their Site K coach, I worked with guys individually, and one of the things that I stressed to them is that if you're in a situation and that situation becomes difficult, instead of labeling yourself or saying that you've done something wrong or get beat down on yourself, simply say, okay, it is what it is. What did I learn from this? How can this help me to improve from this moment on? Instead of getting down on myself, which will automatically make things worse because it will weaken. And so I worked with a lot of the guys in that situation. And I tried very hard to instill positive beliefs about how powerful they were and what they could create in their life, and that they would do amazing things this year with the baseball team. But that there will be times when things would be difficult, and when they are, just embrace it and ask what you can learn from it and how that can help to improve the next time around and make the shifts. told them something. I did a talk for all of them one time, for the whole team. And I said, you're going to do something, and I was implanting this belief into their subconscious mind when I said this. I said, you're going to do something this year that is going to be so remarkable that it will never be forgotten about for the history of baseball at this school. And they just kind of looked at me like that. But they heard it. Because for the next 2 years, they won the national championship. And it's simply because they bought a positive belief and they made a choice not to be down on themselves when things weren't going great, but to ask what the messenger is. And so they practiced that. And amazing things happened. So think about this in your own life. What's going on in your life, and what are you doing about it? Are you judging it? Are you fighting it? Are you resisting it? Are you reacting to it? Or are you simply saying, what is this about? What can I learn from this that will help my life from this moment on? That way you're not weakening yourselves, which is what would happen instantaneously if you judge what's going on. You're strengthening yourselves. And you're also moving forward on your path of awakening. And this is important. This is a really important time. And for some people, Christmas is not an easy time. It's not an easy time. But it's an important time. It's a powerful time to get in touch with that Christ within us, that divine within us. I've said this before, but I want to say it again. When I lived in Santa Barbara, California, my spiritual teacher, her name was Mary Staten, one of the most incredible people that I've ever met in my life. She said something that I'll never forget. It's real easy to show up and be the Christ when everything's going great. Can we show up and be the Christ when we're really being challenged? And the Christ said that we will, not that we might, but we will have challenges on this planet. Because it is a planet of emotion and experiences. But our job is to learn from it all, no matter what it is. To learn from it. To embrace it. So think about that. Our granddaughter, she has had some interesting things in her life. One, and she's become an extreme activist, which is totally fine with me. But she tends to, when she was 2 years old, she chose to name herself. She already had a name, but she chose a name for herself. From Cecilia to Cece. She said, I am Cece at 2 years old. We said, so be it, more Cece. Well, a year ago, she has now said, instead of Cece, she said, my name is Kaikana. And so we said, oh, really? And so she became very pronounced with that, and she said, I am now Kaikana. That's my name. And at first it was a challenge for her mother and father, but they're very interesting and amazing people. So they said, okay, so be it. And so now she's literally changed her name to Kaikana. It is what it is. It was a choice that she made from her divine guidance. Her family has accepted that. Because that's what her heart said was the truth. And so sometimes we rename ourselves because we have graduated to a whole new level of life in our consciousness and our understanding. And that's what's happened with her. And she's a great teacher for us. Instead of judging it or wondering about it or questioning it, so be it. That's your choice. Go for the gusto. So what is the name that we want to be known by now in our lives? What would be a holy name Doesn't mean you have to change the name that you have, but what name or what emotion represents who you are now in your life? Think about that. And what does that mean to you? Because it's a message. It's a message to you about something to demonstrate from the holiness of who you are on this planet. And I can't think of a better time than right now to demonstrate the highest and best of who we are. To strengthen this world, because it's gotten weaker and weaker. But we can turn it around. We have the power to do that. And this time, this is the Christed time right now. This is an important time on this planet. It's the time to activate the truth of who we are. But not just activate it, to live it from the highest order of our beings. And make a positive difference on this planet. It's a time to embrace the angels, because they're really close to Mother Earth right now. It's a time to know their presence is with us, to call on them every day for love, for assistance, for support. No matter what's going on in your life, no matter what's going on the planet. Because they literally adore us exactly the way we are. There's nothing we have to do, nothing to prove. They adore us. They're fascinated with us.
I'm glad they didn't make the choice to join us.
This is an interesting planet. It's not always easy being here. But we're not alone. We're not alone. The heavenly ones are with us every day. They love to be called on. They love to support and assist us. And they can help us. Every time I'm going to do a talk or workshop, every time I get in my car, I call on the angels every single day. Every day. Without fail. I greet them and I feel their presence. And whether you feel it or see it, that doesn't matter. They're there. I guarantee you, I assure you, I've had so many experiences with it. So one of the reasons, especially at Christmas time, because some people have a hard time, the angels are really close. And they want us to know that they're present with us. They want us to know that we're not alone. They want us to know that we're holy. They want our hearts to all connect with each other. Because this is an important time. This is the time of the Christ. Not only the divine Christ of the world, the divine Christ of our heart. And that Christ lives within us. You are so special, so amazing, so loved, beyond any comprehension you could have of that. You are so, so loved. And the angels want you to know that they're with us every step of the way. That you are precious. And that you are adored exactly as you are. There's nothing you have to do, nothing to prove. Just show up. And every day, in every way, do the best you can to be the Christ, no matter what comes your way, no matter what the messenger is. Embrace the messenger. You are indeed God's dream come true. Thank you. God bless you.